Hey, what's up, everybody? HTG Brian live on the main channel for March 2026 Gamebreak. What is up, y'all? I'm having a hard time finding the stream on my. There it is. I don't know why it wasn't showing up. I had to wait till it was live, apparently. Anyways, what's up? Been a minute. Not really. Some of you were actually hanging out with me playing some Resident Evil Requiem earlier today, which we got pretty far, but we're still not where we need to be. However, I did, for those of you who were watching, I did go back a couple saves and I fought through that whole room with those guys that I had to snipe and the ones that attacked me in like the server room. And I redid all of that and I saved it. So I think I have a clean save so that I can do the process in order to one tap Hunk. So, spoiler alert, I guess. What up? I see a handful of you showing up on time here. Some of you were early. I've already conversed with most of you. So, it looks like what up, Blue? And what up, Johnny? Welcome to the stream. Game Break is where we don't play games. We take a break and actually talk things past, present, and future. Me and HTG. So I'm going to be sharing some experiences from the month of March, talking about our stream schedule for April, and some other things too. I might actually even share some pretty precious treasure with you guys. At least that's the plan. I even got my hanging cam activated and on, which has been there for quite a while. So you guys might get to see me unlock or open some stuff later. But that being said, what up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully, you guys have had a good month. Mine flew by. Stat-wise, we had kind of a doozy of a month. Now, real quick, let's look at last month. You can see we flipped 227,308 subs when I actually captured that. This is for February. 705, it looks like, new subs, about 715,000 views, and 36,000. So a little bit lower than usual, but you can see we got the green check marks, and even the subs is within our normal range. So feeling pretty good. Now, this month, womp, womp, womp. First month in a long time, we haven't changed the actual sub count numbers. So like we were 227 last month, we're 227 this month. Now, this was taken a few days ago, so it's likely closer to 228 now, but we actually were a little bit low on new subs, and that's okay. It's kind of a down month. There wasn't a lot of games out other than Resident Evil, which was being played on the other channel, so not a lot of movement or anything, so expectations were kind of low anyways, but all in all, it still pulled in just about 600,000 views, so big time thank you to you guys for just racking them up still for us. That's what this is all about. This isn't a flex. This isn't a look at us. This is a kind of a recognition of how much you guys put in. And 31,000, almost 32,000 watch time hours, which is crazy if you start thinking about it. So big time shout out and thanks to all of you. I appreciate you guys for continuing to make this dream stay alive and this channel afloat. A lot of the back stuff is what's keeping us alive. Obviously, our streams don't do very well. Every single stream, I get a comment that says, "Oh, I didn't even know you streamed." I just got a comment this morning on yesterday's stream, or no, it was Sunday's stream, The Hobbit. And I was like, "Yep, been streaming 3 to 5 days a week for 7 to 9 years." Been at it for a while. Not sure why people are still not aware of this, but hopefully the awareness will spread and we'll start seeing more and more people. Now, on the flippity flip, we actually have a pretty sweet community, pretty tightly knit. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's very cordial, friendly, and stuff. So, if it does get really big, that might take away from some of that because not everybody's nice. But we've got some great mods that can go ahead and swing the hammer if need be, if it does get bigger. Yeah, so we already got enough noms hanging out, which he was giving me a hard time earlier, texting me some stuff. And yeah, anyways. So this month, I'm going to start off the game break by, well, I guess the first real segment beyond our stats, which is a monthly deal, is that we had a little bit of a confused console this month. My PlayStation, well, let me take a step back. My Xbox has been terrible to me. I have an Xbox Series X. I bought it brand new right at launch. It seemed to always have conflict with my router. Whether I'm wireless or wired, it does not really want to communicate with the interwebs. So I usually have to play this game back and forth of like, turn it on, turn it off, and turn the network off, turn it back on, restart it again. Sometimes it takes 5, 6, 7 times. Sometimes it comes right on. About one in every five power ons, it actually logs in without problem. Sometimes I have to pull the Ethernet cable out and plug it back in, and that'll work. It's never the same solution. It's usually one of five things, but it's never consistent. So I've really struggled with that, and I'm telling you about this because I've complained a lot about that, and all of a sudden I started experiencing some issues with my Xbox, or sorry, with my PlayStation. I actually have a very long HDMI cable that goes from my capture device all the way over to my consoles. And I used to have a switch that I could just hit a button and toggle through the different items, because I had a Nintendo Switch, I had a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, an Xbox. And so rather than playing with the cords every time, I had a switch, like an actual box that allowed me to switch between the different devices. That started becoming problematic. Not really sure why, but I had to turn it off, turn it on. So I just went to the main cable, and I've been switching it back and forth between the consoles. Right now, it's just been the Xbox and the PlayStation 5. Every once in a while, it's the Switch 2, or back a while as the Switch, but mostly it's just the two consoles. Well, to plug it into the PS5, I have to kind of bend the cord, and when it seemed to be in that situation, I was having problems. So I started messing with that, and I found no solution. And then all of a sudden it was working fine. And like 2 months went by, no big deal. Then all of a sudden, this last month, it was doing it every single time. And what it would do is it would just like all of a sudden go black. I'd be playing and it would just go black. And then I'd have to unplug it, plug it back in. It would come on sometimes for 2, 3 minutes, sometimes for 5 minutes, every once in a while for 10 minutes, but it would just go black again. I'd turn it off, turn it on, same thing over and over and over again. So I kind of thought maybe it was dead. But before that was decided, I actually chose to pull it apart and clean it. So that was my first stage. And I got a couple of photos. So keep in mind, I had taken our Dyson electric or cordless vacuum a couple of times to it in the 6 years I've had it, but this thing was dirty. And here's a picture of one side of it. You can see like there's some serious buildup on that outer side, that outer rounded edge there. And it was pretty gnarly. Like that the picture doesn't really do it justice, but you can get a good idea. So I took our Dyson cordless vacuum, which has a pretty decent power, but not anything too over. You don't ever want to take like a plug-in, like a Shark or a real Dyson that plugs into the wall versus charging and being, because it's just got too much power. You could actually mess up the fans or some of the internal components. Could suck some of them up, I suppose, too. So I hit it with the cordless, and then I flipped it over, and I was pretty surprised. Pretty gross here, too. So I hit that with the cordless. And then I have, here's a close-up, too. Look how gross. Sorry. That's pretty bad. But yeah, so I ended up taking, I have well, here, it's right here. I can show you. Whoa. So I have, instead of compressed air, I have an electronic fan. It works pretty phenomenally. So I slurped a bunch of it out with the vacuum, and then I hit it with that to kind of blow, and a lot of stuff came out, and I thought, okay, this is it. So I plugged it back in, and 5 minutes later, it turned off. I was so bummed. So I ended up ordering a new HDMI cable with the hopes of that being the fix. But then I started shopping, and I was like, man, these PlayStations cost more money now than they did when I bought it due to changes in the economy and certain factors. There is a higher price tag now, and the reports are that it's going up even more in the next month or so. So I was like really panicking, and I was like, do I really want to buy another PS5, or do I want to buy a PS5 Pro? Started like stressing out about that, and then I finally just ordered an HDMI, like I said, and I plugged it in, and the thing worked. So dodged a huge bullet there because I really didn't want to buy another console, knowing that Sony is talking about trying to release the PS6 next holiday, not this coming holiday season for 26, but for 27. So I didn't really want to buy another console for a year's worth of use. Now I would have gotten use out of it. I'm gonna need to do it if something happens. Reese actually offered that I could use his too as a backup rather than, so that was kind of nice. But I was like kind of on the fence about buying a PS5 Pro because I bought the 4 Pro and it was pretty good. I mean, there was only like 8 games that really had any improvements visually or anything. So, you know, anyway, so PS5 is now back in action. Everything is great. So that is pretty awesome. Especially like I said, with the prices going up here soon, I was not looking forward to paying more. Like that's just so wild. Like I could understand like if you want to buy something brand new, like HTG Doug. Shout out to HTG Doug. He got one of the PS4 like 20th anniversary, I think it was, editions that had like the original PS1 gray color and had like the gray controller, like it all was like retro looking. He got one of those and he put it away so that he could sell it. I don't know if he still has it or not. That you'd have to ask him if you see him. But you know, ultimately I can understand years later or even at that moment being how limited those were, paying more for something like that. But paying more for the same thing or less. I mean, the slim version is, it's not even the same design, it's slimmer. It's got less metal, less materials. I mean, probably a little bit better constructed, but still the same. Like, I mean, it was $50 more for me. I live in Oregon. We don't pay sales tax here. We have pretty high property tax as a replacement for that. So when something's $100, it's $100 for me. And when I bought my console, it was $499. Now it was 549. I was like, what? $50 more for anyway. So yeah, crisis averted. What's up, Michael Hack? What's up? Is it Aurelio? We'll call it Akbar. What up, Akbar? All right, next, we went to, I think I mentioned this, last month we went to the Oregon Auto Show at the Portland Expo Center. And ironically, the very next weekend, which happened to be this month, one of my longest, bestest friends who lives about 3 hours away was going to be in Portland, which is only about 45 minutes away from me. And he was going to be hosting a table at a card show. It's called the Front Row Card Show. It actually travels around the nation. You guys probably have locations next to you or near you that it comes and visits every year. It's a pretty big show, and it consists of a lot of sports cards, Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards. There's comics, there's Funkos, there's a bunch of stuff. But we ended up going. So kind of funny. It might look the same because it's the same place. We were literally in this room the week before, but it was filled with cars. Oh no, Gerg just messaged me and said he's going to be beardless soon. Everybody run! Hide the women and children! Hide the women and children! Get out of here, Gerg! Anyways, you can see pretty good sized show. There was a couple of rooms. This was one of, I think there was 3 total rooms. Now the convention center, the expo center is huge. But what up, Brian D? I see you sliding in there. There was a cheerleading competition happening. There was one other something happening too. I don't remember. So the whole place was filled. There was so many people, but there was 2 or maybe 3 rooms. I can't remember how they broke it down. They were filled with cards. So lots of people, lots of need for deodorant. That's a whole nother story. Some pretty fancy booths. We had some that lit up, and I don't know who this lady was with the white sweater. She ended up in a lot of my photos, though. You'll see as we go through here. You know, this was a pretty heavy Pokemon cart. Lots of different Pokemon cards from new to old. There was some that were like $1.50, and there were some that were like $1,500, $2,000. We saw one table where there was like you know, a bunch of cases and whatnot, similar to what you see on the screen right now, but a little flatter. And they were locked up with like multiple people standing by it. And I looked and it was like 2,000, 2,500, 2,200, 1,800. Like, man, I totally missed out on the Pokemon surge. And as a result, I'm broke. But, you know, ultimately, lots of money in these cards. And see, you know, I came from the early era of like, you know, baseball, basketball, football cards being like the hot ticket items, Garbage Pail Kids and wacky packs and different things were coming out. and really none of it had much value. Even the cards themselves that we were collecting at that time, and we're talking mid '90s, or early to mid '90s. Some of the highest valued cards were like $25. And like Michael Jordan's rookie card was one of the ones that sort of skyrocketed out of that price range, but there wasn't many that were that high a price or valued, so it's weird to see some of these cards that are fictional that, or have like gold and chrome and silver and reflective stuffs on them being worth thousands of dollars. That's crazy. Anyways, so moving right along, you can see there was like a nice comic stand. There's that lady again in the photo. I'm not sure why she was in all my photos, but maybe it has something to do with the fact that she's my wife. I don't know. It might have something to do with that. But we of course, every time we go to any kind of a convention that has comics, I always search all the comic tables, and I'm looking for a very rare comic. It's more of actually a hardcover book of comics. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but comics often that have like years and years and years of production and hundreds of episode or issues, they have these things called omnibus. Omnibus is often just a larger print version of the comics, but in like a hardback book, and they're all together. So they don't carry the same potential value as like the comics themselves do, but the omnibus has all of them in there. And of course, there's a Doctor Doom omnibus, and it's like $500 to $600 online if you find it. I would have bought one if they would have had one. And Jillian was actually walking up to that guy as I was taking this photo, because that's one of our things. Every time we go to Mid Valley Comic Con here in Salem, or Reese goes to the Portland International Comic Con, there's a whole bunch of them that he goes to, and we're always looking for them, but we can never find that Doctor Doom omnibus. So if you see one somewhere, think of me and maybe reach out, especially if you know me, and let me know, because that's been like the holy grail for me, and I cannot find it. Next up, we got Goofy Aaron. This is my homie. He and I met working at a golf course back in 1996. Shortly after that, he became the dude on the couch, and he actually lived with me and another guy named Jeff. We shared a couple of houses, couple of apartments. Aaron didn't pay really any rent. He didn't really do much for a lot of the early days of that. He just kind of hung out, was kind of like my road dog. We went everywhere and did everything. He was always helping out with like making dinner, or when I was working on cars, he was always the first to turn a wrench or help me get parts out of a truck or whatever. So, he wasn't just a slouch, but he wasn't doing much in the early years. And eventually he got a job working at the boat place with our other roommate, Jeff. And then, long story short, he ended up buying his own place and moving out. And unfortunately, that didn't last very long. And he moved over to Bend, which is about 2.5 hours away from me. So I don't get to see the guy very often. We actually usually, hook up with him when we go to Eagle Crest, because that's really the same area. And then usually once a year or so, he'd come into town. But this is the guy that I've always talked about that used to make wine at Willamette Valley Vineyards. He also worked at another place called, what was it called? It was like was it Wanderlust? No, there was some sort of funky name for a cider. And then he actually made his own cider place called Red Tank Cider. And he did that for almost a decade. And then he converted all of his stuff in the production warehouse to make CBD sparkling juice. So he found that was a better market for him, and so he started making a brand called Copa, which actually hit a large portion of the West Coast and a little bit of the central U.S. areas, but never really reached its peak, and he had some problems with the investors and ended up shutting the doors and sold all that stuff. And then he ended up getting into football, and he played a couple of fantasy football leagues, won them. And what's up, Pig? And so anyways, he's got quite the collection. In fact, some of those cards in that case that he's sitting right in front of were hundreds of dollars, like $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 cards. He had a lot of $1 ones. He had a bunch of weird like Olympic cards that I didn't know existed. He had a few sports cards, a few Disney cards. He was really into the Disney stuff too. He's got his weird little niche that he loves, and but it was really good to hang out with him. Unfortunately, we stayed long enough that it was shutdown time, and we were going to go have dinner with him. And I helped him pack all this stuff up and out of there. And it was kind of it was a mistake. I'll just say it. It was a mistake because, there was a process in which to do things, and there was people in front of us. We had to wait. There was lines. Parking was terrible, so we had to walk really far to get the stuff. I'm carrying some heavy stuff that's not really that heavy, but awkward. And I ended up being struggle bus for like 6 days with bad back after this. So helped him pack all that up. But there was kind of a highlight of the show. As I mentioned earlier, when I was younger, I used to collect all sorts of baseball, basketball, football cards, and Garbage Pail Kids. So that's another one of my goals anytime I go to a card or con show, as I always look for some. And nobody ever has any of the old stuff. You can always find the new stuff, and it's way overpriced, so I'd never buy any of it. However, I did stumble across a pretty sweet setup here. Now, Reese, as you know, my son is a big fan of Sonic, and I thought these cards were super rare, so I bought them, but it turns out you could buy it for like $3.50 at GameStop. And the Garbage Pail Kids, those are the 9th series Garbage Pail Kids. They're actually from 1987. They are wax packs, so it is possible that they have been opened and resealed. That is always a possibility, but unlikely. And I managed to swindle a deal. I had $30 on me. He wanted 12 a piece for the Garbage Pail Kids and $10 for the Sonic. I offered him 30 for all three, so a big savings of $4, and he took it. So, pretty excited to tell you that I have not opened those, and my plan has been all month to wait till Game Break to open those on stream. So we're going to do that here in 1 second. But before we do that, I just want to point out something that I shared with some of you in a previous live stream, but this is a little bit more in depth. One of my good friends, friends, I'm just kidding. One of my good friends, who's probably in the chat right now, at least he was before the stream started, BHU. He has a wife named Cheryl and a son named Nathaniel, technically. But funny enough, check this out. In the series, in the 9th series, there is a duplicate for Cheryl Peril and Deflatin' Nathan. So why that's cool? It'd be really cool. So I was looking to see if there was like a Jay or a Pig or a Kirsten or a Ray, a Susan or a Raised or any kind of reference. And the fact that I found a pair that match, like, I'm hoping I pull these cards so I can send them to them. They're probably not worth much, if anything, but the sentimental, like, that's pretty cool. So, like, I'm hoping I pull one or both of these. There are a total of 88 cards in the set that actually have duplicates. So technically there are 96, 86, whatever. A lot. And so, there's very slim possibilities I'll get either of them, but also a possibility I might get. So yeah, I'm hoping I pull one, if not both of them. And Boo is still out there, and he is hopeful as well. So now in the picture before that, you did see that they came in a sleeve. They've been sitting comfortably right here on my desk, waiting for a couple of weeks now to be open. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn on my air camera. Skycam, commence! All right, look at that. Pay no attention to the dirty dust on my screen here. And yes, I do have a beverage here. It is a family-friendly beverage. I considered making it a non-family friendly beverage, but I didn't want to cause a ruckus. You can see my stream deck. This is where I get mad all the time and talk trash because it doesn't work. In fact, today it's working, but it's actually like really slow. I'm not sure why. Like, I'll push a button, it'll take like a second and a half to come alive. Oh yeah, and I may or may not be auto fishing right now because Boo told me last time I saw him online, he was 20 levels behind me. When I talked to him today, he told me he was 20 levels ahead of me. So I gotta start grinding away. All right, you can see a little bit of the squigglies to the activity from today's stream. I'm going to put this over to the side here. Make sure I get a jump. All right, so I don't know if you know that about cards. Like, if you ever have a pack or a card inside of a case that's, you know, sealed on all edges but the top, you know, rather than trying to fight or pinch or get in there, you just give it a couple taps. See how it just comes right out? See how it comes right out? I guess that'd be better. So my camera is pretty deep in the heart of Texas here. I got to lean in quite a bit. In fact, let's see if I can get it a little bit gooder there. All right. So here we go. I'm going to try to open these as be as visible. So it's really cool too. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it, like back in the day, the wax packs, if you collected a bunch of them, you could send them in like $8 or whatever. I'll read it here in a minute. Put my glasses on, and you could get like merchandise, hats, T-shirts, things like that. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna put my glasses on because I'm an old man and I can't see without them. Special GPK T-shirt offer. Terrific high quality white T-shirt as shown. To order, just send $6.95. plus $1.25 postage and handling. $1.25. So $8.20 total is what it says. Plus 3 GPK wrappers. I'm one short. Actually, you know what? I do have another one, I think, still in my collection. It's not available right now, but all right. So you can see they're wax packs. When I said earlier they can be resealed, that is a possibility. The reason is that the material itself is you know, kind of like a wax paper, and it has like, it's what it is, wax paper. So it's got a little bit of wax. They just very gently heat this edge here and it seals it. Now you can actually take an iron and barely bump it on there and it'll melt that back together. So it's very possible these have been opened before and then resealed. But I mean, I'm looking, the wax is all over the back of the card here. I'm feeling like it was resealed, to be honest with you, because I don't know if I'm getting a glare with the light. You guys probably don't see it, but there's a lot of wax on the back of this card. These also came from an era, I'm going to try to carefully open this up, where Topps, the manufacturer who makes these cards and a lot of baseball, basketball, football cards, they always put a piece of gum in with it. And guess what? There's a piece of gum in there. See that? Pretty cool, huh? I would be stupid and say something like $100 worth of super chats, I'll eat it. But I gotta be honest, I can't even get it off of the sticker. It's stuck on there. So looks like Jack Frost is the first card here, although we can't really see him because of, let's see, I guess that would be the best way to do it. It smells like bubble gum though. It does. All right, next up. Is that really one card? Huh? Shrapnel. It's a grenade. Shrapnel. Trying to get the right zoom and the right reflection. Ching, ching, ching. Look at that. Shrapnel. Well, that's another thing. On the back of these, they always have like little stories or like comics or things too. And this one says, would we lie to you? Lee Tree of Belmar, New Jersey, when examined by doctors, was discovered to be completely immune to both measles and chickenpox. But when when examined by tree surgeons, he was found to be highly susceptible to Dutch elm disease and termites. The potato is neither a fruit nor a vegetable. It is actually an alien being from another galaxy. When Sir Edmund Halley first spotted Halley's comet, in here he barfed. That's okay. So, all right. So, uh, Jack Frost, and then we got Shrapnel, Beastie Boyd. It's like the Beastie Boys, but Beastie Boyd. Can't stand it. I know you planned it. Beastie Boyd. All right, next up we got Cementin' Quentin. Cementin' Quentin. And it says, keep out fresh cement. But as you can see, his hands have come disconnected, leaving just snubby bones. All right, our odds are not looking very good for pulling a Cheryl or a Nathan. And last but not least for the pack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it really only 5 cards? Yep, 5 stickers, 1 stick of bubble gum, and 1 stuck piece of bubble gum. Early Burt. I just always love the artwork on these. Yes, they're a little bit wild. Sometimes they're a little bit inappropriate or violent. But ultimately, they were sort of like a parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids, right? So, like, pretty cool stuff because, you know, I wasn't into Cabbage Patch Kids. I was into, you know, I was a dirty boy. Hey, what up, Hugo? Watching right now playing Lego Marvel. Awesome. Adam H says, hi, Hugo, back and forth. Bobby's out there. What up, Bobby? I didn't see you somehow. Scrap Metal's out there, too. What up, man? Good to see you. The stick of gum. Yeah, it's the stick of truth. The bubble gum was horrible. I would agree. Petrified 1980s. Yeah, 1987. 1987. All right, so this one actually on the back doesn't have an ad for a t-shirt. It says, we're alive and grosser than ever. Don't miss the Garbage Pail Kids movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. It's pretty stupid. They have a ton of different, you know, Garbage Pail Kid characters that kind of have like Cabbage Patch Kid looking like, I don't want to call them helmets. They're like masks or whatever, but it's interesting. Oh no! It's broken, y'all. It's not mint anymore. I guess it was never mint. Oh! So dumb. All right, so this one, I actually didn't look at all of the backs of the other ones. We can go back if you guys want. I'm trying to make this roughly about an hour and 15 minutes today so the wife can plan dinner and all that. So, you know, we'll see how this goes for time. Oh, close. So it's cereal. Cereal bowl. Like cereal bowl, but it's instead of all bran, it's all brain. Oh, inappropriate. There is definitely a card that's coming up that's inappropriate. On the back. So another thing they did was they actually made like a puzzle. So they gave you pieces. So this is obviously the very top of the middle, and there was a left and a right, and so there's like 3x3, so 9 cards made up the puzzle. And I wonder if I have any others. Oh, I have a couple of them. So, and there's also checklists that tell you who's all in them. So that's cool. So I got a few cards that I might be able to put together the puzzle. However, I won't be able to because I need 9 cards to do it, and I've got only 10 cards here, and at least 2 of them do not have stuff. So one thing too about cards, and so unfortunate, like this guy, for example, Early Burt, as it focuses in finally. If you look at the cut on the card. See where I'm pinching it with my finger? See how slim it is and then how fat it is on the other side? That is a manufacturing error, And 99% of the time, it actually makes the cards worth less. This applies to football, basketball, baseball. It's just where they cut them. Sometimes they get a little bit out of sync. And unfortunately, like, so if let's say that was like a big hit, like a really nice card that was one of the rarest ones ever, like, wouldn't be worth as much because it's cut funky. Oh, this one's kind of fun. Mac the knife. It's like a Swiss Army knife. GPK on it. You can see the face on the spoon. And I guess it's a spork, huh? So kind of fun. Mac the knife. It's one of the first sideways prints we've had. Uh-oh. These cards are stuck together. Okay, got them. On the back, it's another. So I actually, look at that. I actually have the top left. Yeah, the top left to go with it. So Mac the knife. All right, so this one, I'm just gonna apologize now. If you got a little bit of like, oh no, it's numb. If you got a little bit of boo, yes, I love it. I love it. I don't know how to say it. It's just inappropriate. Okay. So if you don't want to see something that's inappropriate, look away right now. Gun barrel. I don't know that's about you guys, but I feel like there was some I'm curious to see what the alt name is for the other one, right? Because there's gun barrel and then his brother or whatever. On the back, it says another "Would we lie to you?" Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa! There was another card stuck together. So this one is not. Oh, it is "Would we lie to you?" It's a different one. Hector Collector has over 1,392,738,311 GPK stickers. Unfortunately, they are all number 84A. That's weird. Norm Less. It's really it's kind of dark in here. Plus, I have terrible eyes. Here we go. Pennsylvania's own Norm Less, a creator of Garbage Pail Kids, also created the Steam engine. Not like Steam games, but like the Steam engine, like choo choo. Here's Brooklyn, New York's Dr. Fox is actually the proud creator of Norm Less. I don't know what that means, but Gun Barrel, we're going to go ahead and put you with the rest of them. All right, next up, we've got Bonehead Fred. Like you got a little too close with that shave there, buddy. It's like that video I passed around the other day. Some of you saw it, some of you didn't. What does your barber do for a living? That was pretty hilarious. Notice the cut on this one too, how far off it is. It's like way slim on the other side and fat on this side. And then last but not least, oh no, what is happening in this? I don't know what's happening. Turned on Ron. He seems to be farting his way out of there if you look. Kind of looks like somebody else. I won't go into detail, but it's kind of funny. There is another Would We Lie to You on the back. This one says, in addition to English, Airhead Jed of Ogden, Utah speaks 47 different languages. In addition to English, Airhead Jed of Ogden, Utah speaks 47. Unfortunately, nobody so far has been able to understand a word of any of them. Puddle of Barf, shaped exactly like the state of New Jersey, only smaller. And British nobleman Sir Norbert Sturdley invented mashed potatoes in 1703. He got the idea while squeezing a pimple. So what do you think? All you guys out there watching Garbage Pail Kids, hit or miss? You guys like these? Would you like to see more in the future? I ask because I do have some more. I have some very special edition ones. I don't know if you can maybe see through that. I don't know. It's kind of a teaser. Kind of a teaser. Snooch to the nooch. I also have. I don't know if I've ever showed you guys this before or not, but I have my collection from when I was a kid. Or not all of them, but a portion of them. Um, get these out of the way and try not to smash them too much. Most of them are worth like 50 cents or less. I held on to them thinking I was going to be able to retire off of them. Yeah, nobody really gives a smack about GPKs. Yes, they're in a Fisher Price toolkit. Some of you may have had one of these when you were little. Hopefully, I'm opening this up on the right side. Okay. So I do have some GPKs. I've got a whole box of Chrome, which is like reprints of the originals from 1986. It's a blaster box. Cost me $20. You can see it's still sealed. Potentially could open those at some point. What are these? Oh, I have some old basketball cards. Clyde the Glide. Oh, a whole Blazer team set for NBA hoops. Robert Pack, Jerome Kersey. You guys, only local people would remember this. But hey, Nom, do you remember these? The Franz bread cards that used to come in a loaf of bread and you could collect them. Those are pretty cool. But I've got a bunch of other GPKs here. Tiny Tim, Otto Wack, Fran Furter, Chop Susie, Janet Planet. This is actually an early one, but you can see it's in terrible shape. Like the stickers like peeling off, the cut is bad, the corners are round. Here's another one that's from the old like early stuff, but it's missing the outer edge. So I mean, some of these are actually from like my childhood, and I'll have to go through here because I do have some from the 8th series that would potentially I might have the Cheryl and Nathan. Greta Garbage. She was always one of my favorites. I don't know why. Um, King size Kevin. I just love the artwork and the creativity and sort of the nastiness. I also have I do believe we open these. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of these guys, and in fact, I got some pretty special ones. Oh, see, look, I told you I had another wax pack. I have opened it. I don't remember what's in there. That's from the 3rd series, so that's even older. But look at this guy. I actually have a signed. What do they call them? An auto. And look at the centering is like perfect. It says 80 celebrity stickers, 3A of 9. Yeah, some of my old ones. Greta Garbage is in here. Some of the nicer ones. Boney Tony, Unzip Zach, Shrill Jill, Max Axe, Armpit Brit. This was a good one too. Armpit Brit. So, anyways, you guys get the idea. Garbage Pail Kids were like sort of the connecting element of my father and I. As I've mentioned, he was pretty busy with work and then his social life when I was really young. And he was a beer delivery driver. So he would take beer and deliver it to, kegs and such to all the local places. One of the places he delivered to was right next to a comic book shop up in Portland called Pegasus Comics. And Pegasus had tons and tons of GPKs. And he'd go in there and he'd buy, they were like 50 cents a pack. So he'd buy me like $5 or $6 worth and he'd come home with just stacks of them. And I'd absolutely lose my mind. Right. So these are pretty meaningful just because this was like one of my ways that my dad and I connected. He thought they were hilarious and gross. And all the girls he brought over, his girlfriends or whatever, they would always like, oh, that's so gross. And I'd be like, ha, 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 Garbage Pail Kids, yeah. So a huge part of my childhood. And I'm glad I got to open those. And I'm bummed I didn't get either of the two we were shooting for, but that is okay. All right, so next up, this month was a pretty busy month with Lego purchases. I haven't been getting a lot of Lego lately. I've pretty much been on the back burner with it. They're mass producing sets. They don't have the same value or expected return on investment. So I'm not buying 2, 3, 4 sets of the ones that I value or think are going to be good. I've been buying like 1 or 2 or, here and there. And ultimately, there was a couple of gift with purchases this month that were worthwhile, and also the rewards. There were back-to-back rewards that were very, very interesting to me. I don't know if they're gonna hold their value, but they've actually gone up a lot. So let me explain. When you buy Lego at Lego.com, you get reward points. They used to call them VIP points, but they changed it. I think it's just reward points now. These points can be spent on various things. You can actually cash them in for discounts off your Lego purchases. You can use them to get artwork that you can print out and frame or whatever. You can use, there's all sorts of things that they offer. But one of the things that I save them for is they have these reward sets that you can only get with reward points. Usually they're small, somewhere between 150 and 200 pieces. And you can only get them with these points. So a lot of people don't have that. They usually cost 2,500 points. It takes about $350 worth of Lego purchases to get those points. Now, they don't ever go away, so I just keep buying Lego and keep them and only spend them on these $2,500 or 2,500 point sets. This month, the two that stood out were pretty crazy. So we'll start off with the second from the left there. The Pokemon one, it's like a mini training center. That one, so normally these sets, that's one of the ones that I've traded in 2,500 points for. The one right below it, the Fortnite one, also 2,500 points. So I exchanged 5,000 points. Now, the way it works is when you use the points, you have to make a purchase and have it shipped to you. And when you do that, they just throw your reward set in with it. So one of those times I ordered the daisies and the sunflowers, which also got me the creator kit on the left. And that actually allowed me to get the Pokemon one sent to me. So that was the first batch. The second batch was the Brickheads with the Fortnite, with Sky, and it's like the Durr Burger guy, but I don't remember what they called him. I can't see it. I'm blind. But anyways, I ordered the 2 Harry Potter. And if you notice, there's like a big and a little. There's like a Brian size and a Nom size version of that scene. And so I just happened to grab those because they weren't on sale, but they stood out to me. I feel like they might have value in the future. One of them has a bunch of minifigs, and the other one is just big. I actually am right. They've sold out, or maybe they're restocked now, but they've sold out for a minute, and people were like really looking for these. So I'm hoping that that'll hold up. But anyways, the sunflower one, we'll build that. It's for the wife. Daisies will likely get built as well. Creator and the Pokemon and the others will probably get stashed on the Lego wall for safekeeping. And yeah, so pretty fun stuff. So, but that Lego Pokemon, normally those sets sell for $25, $35. It's already selling for like $150, which is crazy. I mean, a lot of people have piece to price ratio. Like Bobby won't buy games unless they're $20 or less. And unless it's like you're going to get $1 per hour's worth of gameplay. So if it's 60 or 70 hour game, full price is maybe reasonable. But if it's something less than that, then he always waits for 20. People won't spend certain amounts over, like that's like 235 pieces, I think. So, people won't spend more than like $50 on it. But unless it's a crap game, then he buys on release. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. He's always telling me I play crappy games. And don't you comment on my choice of games. We're leaving it at that. So yeah, pretty good haul this month. I feel pretty good about the Pokemon. And the Fortnite one, it still hasn't sold out. Last I looked at Lego.com, it was still available. The Pokemon one sold out in like 24 hours. And I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking about it during the stream the night before, and it was confusing on the release date, and I like stayed up all night and waited, and then the next day happened, and it didn't happen, and then that night at 9 o'clock, so like I've got some stuff figured out for next time. But it's not often that they actually announce like, hey, this is going to be available soon. And they did for the Pokemon one. So I set an alarm and was waiting for like 2.5 weeks for it. And it paid off. I ended up getting one, and I know it's a very sought after set. So let's see here. That's the wrapper. I mean, oh yeah. That. Now that you say that, I totally, yep, it was. You're right. Totally. Let's see here. What am I missing in the chat? Unboxing videos are always fun. Boo says thumbs up. Brands had cards. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what's funny is about it's probably been 10 years ago now. I'll get a notification soon on Facebook because it's like a memory, like it reminds me. I actually thought about those Franz cards and thought, why don't they have those anymore? You know, this was right at the beginning of like Damian Lillard's career in Portland, and so like I think LaMarcus Aldridge was still there, and Nick Batum, and like some of the not bigger names, but bigger Blazer names. Um, and I remember having this conversation with the wife, like I wish they still made those cards. And at the time, we had just switched and we started eating Dave's Killer Bread, which is a local group that makes bread. And I think they're nationwide now, but I'm pretty sure they're based out of Oregon. And so I got like a wild hair and went to their website, got their email, and I sent them an email and I said, hey, you guys should take over where Franz left off and start producing cards for the Blazers. And I actually got a couple emails back and forth from them that were like, you know what, that's a great idea. We're going to pass that on to our people. And they're like, okay, it made it through the first round. Everyone's on board. And I'm like, no way. Like I had no value in it, no stake, no money going to be made or anything. But just the concept of being like the root of that maybe happening. And then they finally got to the top and they're like, yeah, we talked to the Blazers and it's just not viable. Sorry, we really tried. We think it's a great idea. And who knows, maybe down the road, we got a new owner for the Blazers. Maybe he'll be more in tune. You know, Paul Allen was real sick with cancer at the time and eventually passed away. You know, so who knows? Maybe there'd be a connection there that would work out because I'd love to get some more Blazer cards. I don't really collect cards that much. I mean, GPKs a little bit, but you know, football, basketball. I don't know. I have my old ones. I have like Shaquille O'Neal's. One of these times, maybe I should do like just a card, like a display, like go through all my cards because I have like a ton of like I got Michael Jordan's rookie card. In fact, I even have some pretty high end reprints too that have been graded. They just so happen to be right here. I keep them and I keep them in this SpongeBob koozie. Don't ask me why; they just fit perfectly. But it's Michael Jordan's rookie card graded. However, it's the what do they call it? The Decade of Excellence. So this is a reprint. So if this was mint Gem 10, which it is, it's mint 10, and it was the real one, it would be worth thousands of dollars. This is a reprint, so they're usually not worth much. However, these have been selling. I saw a bunch of these at the show, that one that I was showing you at earlier. They were selling for $400-500, which is crazy because my wife got these in a set. So here's a different card, but gold, mint gem 10 as well, and then a reprint of the original, trying to get the but in gold foil. So I have all and they're pretty limited edition for what they are, but they're reprints. But you know what's funny is I'm pretty sure my wife paid like $25 or $35 for these on Groupon, like, you know, 15-20 years ago. And now to even think that those are worth a couple $100 is like wild. Like that's way wild. So one of the last things I want to talk about before we get into the stream schedule, and I can see I'm getting kind of close to the estimated time, is that tomorrow is April Fool's. Depending on where you are in the world, it is already tomorrow, possibly. Just be on just be on guard because there's going to be a lot of stupid stuff tonight, tomorrow. There always is. I'm just putting this out there. So if you see like Lego Batman's been canceled, it's a stupid rumor. If you see there's a Dreamcast 2 coming, it's just a stupid April Fool's joke. Razer has already put out some of their stuff. They do something every year and they go off Australian time. So like it ships to my email inbox like a whole day early, basically. You know, there's a bunch of companies that really pride themselves on having like a troll for every year. I'm just warning you now. It's good fun sometimes, but just be on guard because there's going to be some stupid stuff. So that's my PSA. I just want to remind you guys that that's happening tomorrow. So yeah, don't believe anything you see, hear, or read. Michael Jordan signs that card for Brian. Now that's worth a lot of money. I actually have Michael Jordan's signature on a Nike Air page of a Fred Meyer Challenge flyer, or I guess it's pamphlet. I actually have two of them, and but I don't think they're worth anything. I've never tried to appraise them or sell them. Just literally in like a little booklet for a golf tournament that's pretty worldly famous, the Fred Meyer Challenge. It's not like the Masters or anything, but it's pretty well known. The big dogs come here, and it's a pro-am tournament, so they show up and they play with a lot of local people. Sometimes they bring their friends with them too. But like Michael Jordan was there 2 or 3 years in a row. There's a whole bunch of people that came through there. What's his name? Coach Craig T. Nelson. He came through a couple years. My dad actually caddied for a couple people. My uncle or my cousin was really close with Peter Jacobson, who was a local PGA professional tour player. He was like grew up and went to high school somewhere, I think Eugene. And somehow my dad and him got real tight because my dad was a golfer. And then my cousin got real close with him, and he started this company called PJP, Peter Jacobson Productions, and then they started like I think it was called the Jakes, which was a band, and like my cousin was like on the forefront of all of that stuff. He was some sort of helper planner or whatever. So my dad got access to like, and I got tickets to the From Our Challenge every year, and that's actually where my finger got broken. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but it was actually getting Michael Jordan's autograph. They had him. He was on the tee box and he teed off, and I was like second in line of this little gated off area that was supposed to be free and clear so that these players could come. So it's like the ropes, and then they had to walk down and off the tee. And he tees off. He's getting ready to come. They're getting ready to pop the gates open. I've got the page, Nike Air page open with my pen in hand, and I'm standing there like 11 years old, 12 years old, right? Just the little tiny miniature Brian, like nom-size Brian. And like, I get bumped and I drop my pen and I go to pick it up and everybody started moving and my pinky got stepped on. I don't know what happened to it, but like I can't bend it. Like, see how I can like curl? Like I can't, this portion of my finger is basically dead. Like it is there. Like I really try. Sometimes I can get it to wiggle and do stuff, but I can't. It's like this one, I can't. It's just like dead. So I always blame my dad because he's like, you're fine. It's no big deal. But he was working. He was caddying for someone, so it's not like we could have done anything anyway. So, all right, a couple last things here. We got stream schedule. Boom. Monday's going to be officially off for now. We will be bringing back Power Wash Sim 2 once the second DLC hits. And when I say second DLC, I do mean the second paid DLC. I know there is a free one and a paid one as of right now. We'll get a couple weeks out of all three of those once they finally release. Tuesday is still going to be Resident Evil until we finish the story, and we'll see how I feel about it once I get through my first playthrough. I doubt I'll be picking off anything, but there may be a few things that we extend that for. But ultimately, Tuesday is yet to be determined. There's talk about us playing a co-op game again, but we're still, as per usual, we've played all the cool ones. We need some new cool stuff to come out, which there are some on the horizon. Most of them are 2-player, so we'll see how that all works out. But right now, to be determined on Tuesday, but it should be on HTG TV. And then Wednesday, we're going to finish up Arkham Knight, and that's going to be a couple more weeks. And we're going to play through the story. I'm not really focusing on trying to get 100%, but we'll see how I get and how much time is left before Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is. If there's still a bunch of time and there's nothing else pressing or nothing new that I want to play on Wednesdays, usually Wednesday's kind of my new game day, because Tuesday is an HTG TV day. Not as many people over there, but that's always just kind of been like my Apex or whatever game day over there, Resident Evil. And then Wednesday is kind of like my new game day, because usually most games come out on Tuesdays. Not all. Some of them come out on Friday. Some of them come out on Thursdays too. But Wednesday's kind of my new game day. So if a new game comes out, I might replace it. We'll see how it all works out. Thursday's going to be off as per usual. We're still playing Friday Fortnite Day, so we're going to be doing some of that for the next couple of weeks. And then of course Hobbit. Saturday's off. And then Hobbit on Sundays until we're finished with that. We're actually jumping into the free roam next week. So the grind is about to begin. We've got most of the collectibles, got all the collectibles for the free play and stories, so we're good there. But yeah, so that's kind of looking ahead. Now, a couple weeks down the road, I'm actually going on a short trip. As you guys have probably heard me talk about it, there's a big Volkswagen show out in North Carolina at a place called the Tail of the Dragon. It's actually Fontana Village is where it's actually happening, which is along the road that is called the Tail of the Dragon. And if you get to see it ever, it does kind of look like a tail zigging and zagging. It's like a 12-mile road with like 183 turns or something like that. It's pretty wild. So we're going to be gone. So a couple of days that week are going to be non-stream days. So for sure, no Fortnite Friday that week. And for sure, no Lego Hobbit if I haven't finished it. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic that in the next 2 streams that I might be able to finish up Lego the Hobbit, and then my weekend off that I would normally take, we would be there. But it's probably not going to work out that way. So there's probably going to be that off. Now that Wednesday, we leave Wednesday, but we don't leave until the evening. We have a red-eye flight going back east, which is like the worst thing in the world, but it is what it is. We actually booked a flight to leave Thursday morning. After we booked the flight, a couple weeks went by, they changed the flight times. Our friends are going the day before, same airline, had the same problem with them. So something shifted with the scheduling. And the stupid part is that we were leaving at like 9 in the morning on Thursday, and we were getting there at our destination at like 6 p.m., right? There's a 3-hour difference, so it jumps ahead 3 hours. So it's not as grueling as it seems for travel, but it's still time is different. We're now leaving at 11 p.m. I think the flight takes off the night before. So like almost 12 hours earlier, right? Like 10 hours, whatever it is, 8, 9, 10. And we're getting there at like half an hour earlier than we would have. So there's like a huge layover in Texas, I think. So we'll be at, I think it's in Dallas, I think is where we're landing. So yeah, that's going to be, I already told the people are going, I'm sorry in advance. I'm going to be a zombie the whole friggin' time, and this is going to suck. But it's an experience that I've wanted to do, and I've known about it for a handful of years. My friend went last year, and then he invited us to go this year, so we couldn't say no. And, not like we could say no to going to Vietnam. So we definitely are looking forward to it. However, it's going to be a no sleep trip. So we leave Wednesday, we get back Sunday. So, but it'll be late Sunday when we get back, so I won't be able to stream. And then that Monday, obviously, I won't be streaming. And then I should be good on that Tuesday, depending on if we found a game or not. So you said no. I remember. Are you sure? Are you sure? Look at this place that we'd be staying at. All right. Stay away from the moonshiners, which is really funny because there's like a video. It's like a orientation kind of video that's like, or no, it was a schedule I was reading. And it was like, here's the times of new people. If you haven't been here, you want to be here for this and check this out and do this. And one of them was hang out at the campfire. And if you're lucky enough, one of the locals might hook you up with some shine. And I was like, shine? What's shine? Oh, moonshine. Because that's that side of, that's like Tood shine, right? Like that's like Tood's neck of the woods almost. Like that's where all that stuff is still alive and thriving. I'm sure they have it out here in the West. We don't see it that much. I'm told that they have like mason jars at like grocery stores that you can buy moonshine that's got different flavors and stuff back east. So it'll be different. I think some of my buddies that are going are bringing some brews. So hopefully he brings enough for me. He's kind of a lightweight. He doesn't drink much. So, but yeah, so we'll all see. Yeah, and still great. And it was funny because I was telling Jay about it like 2 weeks ago. And he was like, oh, what's that? And we like got onto Google Maps and I showed him where it was and everything. Cause we were kind of trying to figure out how far away it was from where he was. And then, so we checked out Tail of the Dragon and all that stuff and Fontana Village. And we found Topeka Lodge where we're staying and all that stuff. Right. And, Jay finds out later that his brother-in-law had just got back from a trip to that same place, drove the Tail of the Dragon on his motorcycle. And I just thought that was totally random because we were literally talking about it. We stopped talking. He goes to Facebook, or his wife, I think, showed him on Facebook that, yeah, pretty funny stuff. So, All right, so last but not least, we got Patreon shoutouts. We got people that have supported above and beyond the expectations over on patreon.com/happythumbsgaming. I used to have a nice fun pop-up that popped up. I'm sure I still do, and I need to re-add it. Today was kind of crazy, reprogramming buttons. I had to switch from HTG to HTG TV for my logins for YouTube and Streamlabs. And when I do that, it makes things a lot easier because it remembers all the stuff. The only thing it doesn't remember is the Stream Deck's buttons. So I had to program all the buttons, from basically once I log out of an account, it sort of wipes them clean. They're all still there, but they're not attached to anything. So I have to go through and click on them and then select what source, and then I have to select what layer, and then I go to the next one and select what source, what layer. It's not really that difficult, but it takes forever. And I should have. I was thinking, man, I got everything. I got some extra time. I need to remember that Patreon button because that would be nice to have because I know I have one. But here are the $5 and up Patreon supporters, and big time thanks and shout out to everybody. We got a couple newbies this week. Big Shadow and Jason Martz both were added to the list. So big time thanks to you both. Much love. And yeah, one of you is even going to get a verbal shout out. That's right. So, whoa. Thumby took off, or I might have to alter that. I changed it because I had to update it this week, but apparently I snubbed the end. There is one more thing I want to show you guys too, but before we do that, let's go ahead and do the $10 and up Patreon supporters. First up, these are just in the order they appear to me here. We got Dougie Fresh 613. Appreciate the love, Dougie. Much love. Hopefully all is well for you. We got a guide that's going to be written pretty soon. We still got a couple guides that should be finished for you too. No, I'm just kidding. I know you got New Baby, and although not New Baby, you're probably coming up on a 1-year anniversary. I doubt you're watching this. If you are, send me a message, text me, let me know what's up. We know you're still alive and kicking. Next up, we got the newbie, Big Shadow. Much love, Big Shadow 21. I know you weren't able to be here due to your work schedule. You worked a double today, and you had to work early in the morning tomorrow. But I'm assuming you'll watch this at some point. So appreciate the love, man. Appreciate the love and all the help on Resident Evil as well. Next up, we got Anna Russell. Thank you so much, Anna, for your help inside and out of the streams. I know you're always harassing me, telling me when Kirsten's streaming and stuff too. Appreciate it. Maybe slightly cut back on the jokes, maybe a little bit, but seriously, thank you for the support. Much love. And next up, we got Piggy Smalls. What up, Jay? Thanks for the love. And I gave Boo some homework, and he didn't do it, and he became dead to me. So this is your opportunity to either be cooler than Boo or also join the list of becoming dead to me. I don't know, how late it is to start watching a movie over there, but you should watch Anaconda tonight. And I won't even have to tell you the scene because I know you'll know the scene. But you have a cameo appearance in the show, in the movie, and it's like one of the funny. And it goes on for like 5 or 7, maybe 6 or 7 minutes. Wife and I were laughing so hard last night watching that. So do us a favor, watch it, see yourself in action. Next up, we got Michael Garsberg. Thank you so much, Michael, for your support. Much love. Hopefully all is well. I saw you went somewhere the other day, but I liked it. I'm trying to remember what it was, though. Regardless, I always give you a special word. Let's go with, I'm trying to find a word that's on my screen here that might be worth something. Epic. Epic is the key word. Pretty simple. Garbage Pail Kids. How about that? GPKs. GPK, Epic, Garbage Pail Kids. Either one. All of them work. Anaconda ain't. No, that's funny because they actually use in the movie. No spoiler alert here, but in the movie they actually use a remixed version of "Baby Got Back." My anaconda, my anaconda won't no. It's pretty funny. If you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. Anaconda, the first one, was it was decent, but it was kind of like a serious, almost like scary kind of movie. It was. This one is a hilarious comedy. It's got Jack Black, Paul Rudd, what's her name, Tandy Newton, Steve Zahn, and some other people too. Hilarious. Definitely watch it. All right, next up, we got the lurker. April what? April, I sent you an absolute Bible or a book, a novel. It was huge. Letters after paragraphs after paragraphs. I haven't heard from you since. Hopefully I didn't chase you away with my bad grammar. Appreciate the love. Thank you for the support on Patreon. And last but not least, at the $10 and up, we got Bonnie Miller. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for your support. Again, I'd love to hear from you. We haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully things are great. And, drop by, say hi on stream, or, shoot me an email or anything. Just like a post. Just let me know you're out there. Love to see it. All right, and that wraps it up for the Patreon supporters at $10 and up. So thank you so much, guys, for the support. I know we got a handful of $1 and $2 out there, too, that don't get shout-outs but are still supporting, so much love on all of that. All right, last but not least, I do have one last thing for you, and then I got to get going. I mentioned earlier that I kind of been stressing out about something really stupid. And I shared it with Boo, and I told him I'd warn him because he was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Nothing." He's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Nothing." It's like, "Something's bothering you," and I was like, "Yeah, it's really stupid though. I don't want to talk about it." So then, we started talking about other stuff, and then eventually I came back to it and told him, and Nam, I expect your opinion on this as well. And I actually want everybody's opinion, but I've already kind of made my decision, so. But I'm curious to see what other people think. So I've had this dilemma. My car, okay? I have a really nice car. I love it a lot. I like keeping it clean, and I have a really hard time keeping my wheels clean. I know it's stupid. It's totally dumb. Totally stupid, dumb stuff. Old man complaints. Essentially, I'll clean them, and they don't get clean. So then I'll clean them again, and then I clean them again, and then they're finally clean. And then I'll roll 20 feet in the brake dust, and they're dirty again. And it drives me nuts. I literally spent an hour and a half on Saturday cleaning my wheels, just my wheels. And because I have this process, I have this little chair that I sit on, and I sit there, and I have a tool, and then I have another rag, and then I have a special spray, and so I got all 4 done. We went to Portland, and they were dirty. And I was like, talking to Jillian, I hate these wheels. I need to buy some new wheels. I need to call these guys. And because I've been talking to a guy about having some custom wheels made, and I've been searching for a specific set of wheels for a long time. And I just told her, I said, if they still made the new speed wheels that I want in midnight satin blue, I would just buy those, and this problem would be over. Now, the reason why I say that it would be over is because the wheels I have now have very fancy spokes, and right behind the spokes there's this channel. They cut out part of the wheel to help with weight saving, but this channel builds up dirt and dust. Any water that hits it runs down the wheel, brings all brake dust and debris, and sits. So if it's parked and it's sitting there, which my car only gets driven once or twice a week, it sits often. So if it rains, pollen, any dust, any brake dust, any all falls, and so it starts chunking up, and I have to I kind of have to scrape, but I can't really get to it because it's behind the spokes. So these other wheels don't have that. And I was like, if they just had these wheels and they've been discontinued for 6 years and blah, 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 and I should just call this other guy back and have those other wheels made. And I just went off on the thing. Jillian was like, uh-huh. So the next day, I'm sitting here. Jillian went to go run some errands or something, and I fired up Facebook. And I kid you not, a set of the wheels that are discontinued that I've been waiting for and looking for was for sale. Not even an hour away from me, 45 minutes away. I'm like, wow, that's in my old hood off 185th and Baseline. That's right by where I get my car worked on and everything. And so I click the button because there was a video. Sometimes wheels are for sale. They have pictures of each wheel or whatever. He had a video. And as soon as he clicks it and he's looking at the wheels, I can hear the voice. And I'm like, I know this guy. That's Dean. That's Dean. And then the camera pans back and it's Dean's shop. It's the shop that I go to for my car. Has a set of the wheels that I want. They're my size. They're right wheel lug pattern. They're the right color. The only problem is they got some scrapage. So they're going to require some refurbishment. Now I have a guy that does it. He does phenomenal work, but it essentially is going to cost at least $100 a wheel, if not $200 a wheel. And, you know, $800 on top of the asking price of the wheels, which is $1,000, all of a sudden makes these pretty expensive wheels. Then I realized the center caps that come with them are the wrong center caps. So I'd have to figure out a solution, whether I print stickers and put stickers over it, whether I get different center caps. You know, the ones I have right now currently won't fit these wheels, so I won't be able to just swap mine over. So that's another cost. I'd have to add more money for center caps or some sort of solution to the center cap, printing stickers or whatever. Then I realized the lug nuts are actually different. So they have like flat lug nuts that like seat up next to, and they're flat as well. And then there's like the bow, the I think they call them the ball joint. And so like so it's flat and it's curved. So I'd have to get new lug nuts as well. So I'd have to buy a lug nut kit, center caps, or some sort of solution, refurbishment, and pay for. And I was like, man, I don't even know if I like the wheels on there. So I searched like for 2 hours trying to find a car that's like mine that has these blue wheels on. Can't find it. So I finally got into Photoshop and was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. So I took a photo that was posted for these wheels for sale, and I tried to find an image of my car that matched the angle as best as possible. And I did sort of just a rough Photoshop job. It's not phenomenal, but it's pretty decent. But here's a photo. This is an older photo. This is actually like the 2 days after I bought the car. So it's got different mirror caps. It's just different. Like none of the stuff I've done to it have been done to it. So it might look a little different if you keen-eyed people out there. But here it is. And that's Reese's car right next to it. So we were out on a father-son deal. We were actually going to have lunch up in Portland. This is actually, ironically, this picture was taken about 30 minutes before he absolutely destroyed one of his wheels on the curb. He just bought the car for me the day before. It had only been like, I think I'd had my car for like maybe a week. And he absolutely just rips through one of the wheels. So we had to take it to the guy that would be repairing these other wheels. But so check this out. So here's what my car looks like right now. And here's my Photoshop job of the blue wheels. Now, I've been wanting blue wheels because I have blue accents on my car, and I think it would look great. But I think the blue is the wrong blue. You tell me what you think. Ready? Blue. They look decent, but they look a little too bright. Like, I feel like it's the wrong blue. And I feel like black looks better. Yeah, barf nonsense. I'm so like, I probably could even talk Dean into selling them a little bit cheaper. But I think they're too like ice blue, too light blue, too baby blue. Like they need to be darker, like more of the blue of the accent on my car. Like the brakes themselves, like if you look real close, they're blue. That's the blue accents. So, and this another thing too, the photo that I used the wheel from, the light and the sun is beaming onto them. So it's as bright as they could be. They have probably a little bit of a distortion of light or washed out look to them. They're probably not as bright as this, but I once I saw this, I went, yeah, I don't want them. So I struggled for like a couple days, a day and a half. And I think I've made my decision, and based on, you know, not often I agree with Nam, but on this one, I think I have to. Definitely just not the right color. So although I've been waiting for those forever and I've drooled over them, I've searched countless days and hours looking for those. There's even a company that says they have a set, and I've talked to them, but they were schmohawks. I asked some questions about fitment, and they were like, bleh, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, how are you going to be working for a wheel place and not understand fitment? So anyways, ultimately, I think I'll call it good and just say no to those. I do have another set of wheels that I'm very interested in, but it's the same exact situation where the blue that is involved is a little too ice blue or light blue. If I can, I know I don't know the manufacturer, but I've talked to the owner of the company, and he says I can do whatever color I want, so I can likely get that resolved and get the right blue. But I don't know. Show season's coming up pretty soon. I want to have a different look than I did last year. I want to continue to improve the car. So we'll see. I'm hoping that Nam will join this year too. He's got a really nice Audi that would fit in well at the Volkswagen shows, whether he races, whether he attends, whether he shows the car. I mean, he could pull up with a clean car and park in the show area for $5 or $10 more than it costs to get into the place and be right. And you take a break, sit in the car, air conditioning if it's too hot, or get in the car if it's raining and drive out. Versus walking all the way out the bar. That's one of the main reasons why I started showing, is because my friend was like, "Bro, you pay $10 extra, you get to park in the middle. You don't have to worry about walking all the way through all the crap and all the smokers and all this stuff." Like, I was like, "Ah, that's actually genius." So I've been doing it ever since. And last year, won first place, hoping to get first place again. So we'll see. But April Fools, I posted those wheels. Nothing wrong with a little curve. Too bright. Yep. I know that place. Do ya? Do ya? Yep. Woodburn's awesome. I'll be definitely there a couple days. There's actually import. I think it's Saturday. There's a big import race. It might have actually been last Saturday. But anyways, guys, I've gone 5 minutes longer than I told my wife I would. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you have not already, please smash that like button. I thought I had a button for that, but I guess I do not. I've got it all set up, but it's apparently not attached to a button. So, again, thank you so much for hanging out. I'll be back on tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, Arkham Knight. Hopefully we'll get some good ground covered. Find the last of those firefighters. Maybe chase down. I got one more section of Man Bat, right? Yeah. So Jay will be helping me with that. Appreciate it, Pig. And yeah, you guys have yourself a wonderful evening. And just for the sake of the cause, go Blazers. If you have not already, please check us out at happythumbsgaming.com. We also got merchandise at htgmerch.com. Love to see you rocking some Thumby gear of sorts. And of course, yep, I'll be back tomorrow for another lovely stream with y'all. So hope to see you then. As always, until next time. Salute.